Chapter 8. Trixie tried her best to stay cordial and polite. Sitting across from her was Duke Greengrass and Cheerily at a table in a local cafe. Much to the annoyance of Cheerily, who wanted a little alone time with the Duke, but Trixie wasn't having any of it, and refused to have him leave her sight. She didn't want or trust him being alone, making Cheerily occasionally shoot her dirty looks, but Trixie just ignored them. "It took forever for my mane to grow back," Cheerily said, "and Rainbow is almost impossible to get out. My hoof was rainbow-colored for weeks." The teacher was telling one of her misadventures she recently had with her students. Much to Trixie's amazement, the tale ended with Cheerily half crazed, missing half her mane, and sporting an eye patch. "Oh dear, I see that was quite a mishap." Greengrass sounded aghast. "I love them all dearly and truly, and they mean well, but they could be a real hoofful sometimes." Cheerily stared at her belly laugh. The challenges of being a teacher. "But all worth it, right?" Greengrass's grin was wide and encouraging. "They are our future, our hope, and they require proper pruning, care, and attention to grow." Cheerily nodded vigorously in agreement. "Exactly. A few bumps on the head are a small price to pay. I heard you do a lot of good work for foals, too." Greengrass gave a modest look like he was hardly even worth attention at all. "Indeed. I give 1/10 of my earnings to orphanages all over Equestria every year, and I have sponsored many poor unfortunates over the years. Take Final, for example. Her parents and leg were tragically lost in an accident. I had to do something, of course. Nowhere near as impressive as what you do. You grow and tend to the future generation personally, every day." Shirley blessed the compliment. Trixie rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. Are you actually buying this garbage? Greengrass is a sociopath. He only cares about himself. He'll sell out his own mother in a second." "That's nice of you to say." Shirley gave him the look, and the Duke gave her one back. They were staring into each other's eyes now, smiling. Trixie gave out a loud cough, grabbing both their attention. "That is very interesting, Duke Greengrass. I heard an interesting rumor about one of your aides giving out bribes to the mayor of Hoofington so that one of your factories could be built there." Greengrass gave a mournful look. "Sadly, yes. He did it thinking he could win my favor that way. He was too eager, I think. I do not abide by such things. He was punished to let go." Cheerily nodded. "Such are the ways of the world, sadly." She glared daggers at Trixie. "Trixie, can I talk to you for a minute?" Trixie flailed her arms as Cheerily painfully pulled her under a table. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Cheerily hissed. "Trying to stop you from making a mistake," Trixie cowered. "Don't you dare do this. I haven't met a stallion like this in years," Cheerily fumed. "Haven't you ever thought that this might be too good to be true? Don't forget about Final attacked us," Trixie argued. "Both Greengrass and Final apologized for it. She was just testing you. No pony got hurt. It's water under the bridge now," Cheerily shot back. "Is everything all right down there?" Greengrass called out. "Just 1 second," Cheerily called back. "I had enough of your fear-mongering and tinfoil hat paranoia. Duke Greengrass is a nice stallion. To you, all Night Court nobles are evil, aren't they? Well, you're wrong." "But," Trixie tried to say, but Cheerily interrupted her. "If you don't leave right now, I will break every bone in your body and throw you to the Everfree Forest. Don't think I won't." Cheerily growled. Trixie gave a hesitant nod. "Good." Cheerily roughly pulled Trixie back up again. "Sorry, but my friend has to practice for her show tonight. It's a shame, but she really needs to go." Cheerily barely finished saying that before she pushed Trixie with all her strength away from the table. Trixie stumbled and almost lost her hoofing, as she straightened herself up with much grace and dignity as she could. Trixie was about to say something in return, but a death glare from Cheerily made her stop, and she left the two of them alone. "Really, your special talent is gardening. I would never have guessed the black X for a key mark might mean that." Greengrass gave a hearty and jovial laugh. "I get that a lot. Some ponies have it confused for me that I have a special talent for being a pirate." That was the last thing Trixie heard as she left him. Trixie kicked a rock in frustration. She knew Greengrass was up to something, but had no way to prove it. Trixie shook her head. She decided, for now, she would just see how her friends were doing and beginning their final preparations for the show tonight. Trixie found Ditzy, Pinky, Raindrops, and Vinyl cleaning up Sugar Cube Corner. They were tossing out anything that was burned or damaged by the monster attack onto a cart into the road. Ditzy waved to Trixie as he pressed. "Hey, Trixie!" as he carried a box full of destroyed junk to the cart and dumped its contents inside. Light waved her hoof. "How is the cleaning coming along?" she asked. It was a huge mess, and despite their efforts, they weren't even close to being done yet. Ditsy puts the box down and swiped the sweat off her brow. Since her hose were covered in soot, just only got the black streak. "Not bad. That monster got real dizzy on this place." Trixie smiled. "It's nice that you're helping out. I would help too, but I get dirty myself before the show." Ditsy nodded in understanding. Trixie looked around for her other friends. "Where's Lyra?" "Oh wait, I bet she's helping Mama prepare her goods for the show tonight. And Carrot Top is with the princess, I believe." "Yep. Of course, none of the night cart ponies offered to help out. The lazy so-and-sos," Ditsy replied. "You don't have to do this right now. I'm sure it could wait for a little while. The show begins in a couple of hours," Trixie said. She knew both Ditsy and her daughter were really looking forward to the show. "Yeah, it's fine. I like to get things done right away," Ditsy said, grinning. "I'm a bit surprised that Vinyl is helping you." Trixie was quite surprised by this. The DJ in question was putting things from a destroyed table in a box inside. Raindrops, with an excited and eager grin on her face, was helping her. Despite cleaning up the trash, Raindrops loved every minute of being around her favorite DJ. "He's cool," Ditsy started whispering. "You're than the others, at least. Tell me about it. I think that you're up to something," Trixie said. Ditsy nodded. "Definitely." Trixie was taken aback. "You believe me?" Ditsy shook her head. "You're a bunch of real silly characters. That Fisher Pie needs to get hugged more often. Greengrass is a sneak, and Nightlight is a ball of unconcealed rage." "What do you mean?" Trixie furrowed her brow. "I can see the way he looks at you. He really, really doesn't like you," Ditsy said, raising an eyebrow. Trixie mentally hit herself. She was so caught up in Greengrass she didn't even think about what Nightlight might be doing here. "Oh no, maybe he hates me because of what happened to Twilight." "That nightmare. She scares me," Ditsy said with a shiver. Trixie put her hoof to her temple. "Ooh, what a mess." Ditsy's ears flattened. "I guess they could be our allies and friends, but that's probably not going to happen." "Ooh, we should prepare ourselves for anything," Trixie said. Ditsy nodded in agreement. "Hey, Ditsy, what's holding you up? We still have like a million things left to clean up," Fido yelled. "Coming!" Ditsy yelled back. Ditsy turned to rejoin and taking the back box into her hose. "I'm glad some pony isn't taking him by Greengrass. Tilly has fallen head over heels for him," Trixie said, completely exaggerated. Ditsy shrugged. "He is handsome, and rich, and charming." Trixie sighed. This was not going out and well. "I'm surprised you weren't taken by him." "I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Anyway, I'm gonna secret ways of measuring a pony," Ditsy said with a conspiratorial wink. "Ditsy!" Raindrop screamed in annoyance. Okay. Ditsy waved to Trixie and went back to work. Secret. What? Wait, did Ditsy use that hug to secretly access their character? Like purposely throwing themselves off to see how they would react? Fisher did give her a hateful glare after his hug. Trixie wondered if they all might be underestimating Ditsy. Trixie paced the stage, unable to get Ditsy's warning of Nightlight out of her head. It was interfering with her preparations. It was a big show, and she had quite a bit to prepare for. But Trixie could focus at the moment. Ditsy was right. Nightlight had a grudge against her. She knew that Fisher and Greengrass just didn't like her, and she could deal with that. Nightlight was one of the most powerful ponies in Equestria. Almost as powerful as Princess Luna herself. She didn't want a pony like that hating her. Trixie was also really bad about what happened to Twilight about a month ago. She felt at least a little to blame for what happened. Twilight came to Ponyville so she could study the Galaxy Rangers, only to get turned into a monster by Corona. Trixie was worried about her and hoped Twilight didn't blame herself too much for what happened. Trixie was supposed to just apologize. It would be the quickest way to fix anything. It would be difficult, but Trixie knew she had to do it. Gathering her resolve, she left dropping everything to find Nightlight. After getting some inquiries with a few Ponyvillians, Trixie was able to locate Nightlight. He and Fisher were given a conversation on a bench near the Ponyville Library. "Greetings, Archduke Fisher and Viceroy Nightlight," Trixie announced with a grand brow. "Hello. Hello. How may we help you, Representative?" Fisher asked. Trixie looked both Knight and Court nobles over. Fisher looked at her coldly. Nightlight tried to do the same, but there was something in his eyes. Dear Luna, oh my... Right! Tracy thought. He really does hate me. She could see the searing hatred in his eyes. I was wondering if I could borrow the Viceroy. There's something I want to discuss with him. Tracy said with as much politeness as she could. Nightlight studied Tracy for a long, uncomfortable moment before finally nodding. Very well. There's a library over there. It would be a good place to talk. Tracy nodded. He left Fisher for the library. So, what do you want to talk to me about? Nightlight asked. The library was unsurprisingly empty. This suited Tracy, who didn't want anybody disturbing them. Well, Tracy paused to think of what she was going to say next. I just want to ask, how is Twilight doing? She disappeared after the Corvus incident, and I haven't heard from her since. Tracy could still remember the look on Twilight's face when she teleported away. She was so scared and full of hurt, it was heartbreaking. Nightlight's red eye twitched. For a comfortable minute, he stayed silent. Tracy's movements became agitated. She wondered if it was a bad idea. She wrote a letter saying she's well, he eventually said, but that's it. I have no idea where she is now. I see, Tracy said, unsure what to say. Another uncomfortable moment passed between the two of them, without anybody saying anything. Tracy finally decided to speak up. Look, I just want to say I am sorry for what happened. Twilight came here to study us, the Galaxy Rangers. She got caught up in Corona's trappings. I feel bad for what happened. I know it wasn't really our fault, but I do feel at least a little responsible. Do you? Is that supposed to make me feel better? Make all the sleepless nights worrying about my daughter go away? I just don't want there to be any bad blood between the two of us, Tracy said a little too quickly. Nightlight's story. I've always hated you. What? Tracy asked, shocked. It should have been her. She should have been the princess's student, not you. She was actually talented. She had the makings of a great unicorn maid. Her grades were impeccable. She deserved to be Princess Luna's student. You are a half-baked stage magician with not even a tenth of her talent and intellect. The only reason the princess took you as her student was due to one of her flights of fancy. She did it to honor your late grandfather. You did nothing to earn it. Hold on a minute, Tracy tried to say, but Nightlight ignored her. It's funny. Twilight was actually planning to go to Ponyville for the 1000th longest night. She was really looking forward to seeing the princess again. Nightlight's face went dark, but she got sick and couldn't make the trip. If she was there, I have no doubt in my mind she would be the Ursa Ranger right now. Like becoming the princess's student, you only became the Red Ranger because of a fluke. Nightlight suddenly raised his voice quivering. You didn't earn or deserve any of this! You should have become the monster, not her! Tracy glared at Nightlight. I'm sorry it turned out that way, but what has happened, nothing can change that. Think I want your apology? That would actually change anything? Nightlight's voice became icy. He glared daggers at Tracy. His eyes stared full of hate and rage in hers. My daughter is out there, hating herself for what she did as Corvus. I will never forgive you for that. It was Corona that did it, Tracy shot back. Oh, don't worry. I'm planning to make sure she gets hers, too. That's why I became a Ranger in the first place. Nightlight smirked like he knew something she didn't. It was something unpleasant. After I'm done with you, of course. You know, I would say something about going for vengeance as unbecoming a Ranger, but then I remember Go Ranger. Tracy put up her guard. You want to pick a fight? I don't need to. After all, I did a little digging and found something interesting. Nightlight gave a cat-like malicious grin. What do you mean? Tracy was not liking the sound of this one bit. My accountant found something very interesting. Pinefield's relief budget doesn't quite add up. Nightlight said, he found some rather suspicious spending. It is quite possible some ponies embezzling Ponyfield's Corona relief money. It wasn't me, Tracy sighed. She felt a pit in her stomach. Did her best to fight back the panic. I suppose with all those bits coming in, even the best ponies might be tempted to siphon some of that money for herself. Nightlight smirked. It wasn't me, Tracy said firmly. That is why I got a warrant for the police to check your home and personal records and look for any discrepancies. Nightlight said, Oh, pony feathers. Tracy started moving towards the door. Nightlight dashed in front of her. And where do you think you're going? You know, Nightlight, this is probably you're probably the second most evil version of a Nightlight I've ever seen in my life. Who's number one? You just can't surpass Nightlight from the empty room. You are setting me up! I'm not gonna stand by and let you do this to me! Trixie glared at Nightlight. I need to get to Princess Luna right away. It seems like you're making a run for it to me. Nightlight gave Trixie a mocking smile. I can't allow that as a viceroy, as a ranger and protector of Equestria. Get out of my way, Trixie challenged. She rose to her full height to intimidate him. Nightlight took out his morpher. It looks like we'll have to subdue the suspect. Trixie gritted out her teeth and pulled out her own morpher. You want to fight? Fine! It's morphing time! Trixie and Nightlight yelled together. Ursa! Jupiter! You are enjoying these morphing calls way too much! Yeah. The only thing that would be better is if I got to yell out henshin. Trixie charged her as she transformed. She summoned her sword and swung at Nightlight's head as he was transforming. He ducked under the attack and carried with a punch to Trixie's face. She went flying and smashed into a nearby bookshelf. Trixie was covered with an avalanche of books, and the shelf was cracked by the impact. Trixie groaned as she rose. Okay, he's a little stronger than I thought. Books cascaded off of her as she rose. You really think you stand a chance? I have the power of Jupiter, king of the gods. Nightlight mocked. I'll show you what true power is. Nightlight pressed a button on his morpher. In a flash, a large sword appeared in his hooves. It was gigantic and almost as long as Trixie's body. It had a white gleaming blade and a blue hilt. Nightlight took the weapon in his magic. Oh my god! He is a bastard! He's even using a bastard sword! Boom! Sorry. Trixie raided her own weapon. She stared down at Nightlight. She started circling her opponent, and Nightlight did the same. Trixie thrusted her sword forward. Nightlight barely dodged the blow in time. Sparks flew where her sword scraped his helmet. Nightlight retaliated by swinging his weapon at around Trixie's head, coming at her with blinding speed. Trixie was ready for it, rolled out of the way in a hard way. Nightlight's sword left a deep gash in the floorboards. Before Trixie got out of her roll, Nightlight chased the race of his blade, swung it at Trixie's curled body. Trixie grabbed her sword with her magic and just barely deflected it. Da 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 da. She got back on her hooves and pulled her sword back to her hooves. Nightlight and Trixie circled each other again. Nightlight swung his sword vertically at Trixie's abdomen. His long reach made it hard to dodge, so Trixie parried, holding the blade steady with her other hoof. Trixie pushed back, but held her ground and was pushed back only a little by the attack. Nightlight saw this opening and tried to deliver a turning kick at Trixie's exposed flank. Trixie glared her teeth at the painful blow, but responded back with a headbutt right in Nightlight's face. Her horns separated and scraped loudly against Nightlight's helmet. He reeled and grunted in pain, and his sword dropped to the ground with a clang. Trixie took to the defense of her stunned opponent and butted him in the head again. She thrusted her sword down his chest. Nightlight screamed in pain, but didn't seem too injured by Trixie's attacks. He swung his sword down Trixie. She couldn't dodge in time, and the impact of the blow made Trixie smash into a table. She groaned and shook her head to clear it. Nightlight didn't let up, and struck at her prone form. She blocked it with her sword, but Trixie didn't have enough grip to secure it, and her blade went flying out of her hooves. Oh, pony feathers! Trixie cursed. Nightlight started wailing on Trixie with her sword. Each blow was harder than the last, and battered her back and forth with sparks erupting from each blow. Trixie felt her strength failing her. She tried to cast a spell, but Nightlight saw her horn lit up and delivered a powerful blow to her head, dazing her before she could do anything. She fell to one knee and gritted her teeth. It's time to end this, Nightlight said, pressed the button on his morpher. Wrath of the King! He pointed the sword at Trixie's chest. A blast of air electricity shot out the tip and hit Trixie straight on. She flew through the wall behind her and burnt a large burnt holes left in the attack's wake. Trixie crashed at high speed into a house's wall. It was obliterated, and Trixie kept going. She went right through the house with little resistance. She crashed to the streets underneath her, but that didn't stop her momentum. She dug to the ground and left a deep gash in the earth. It took at least a block before Trixie finally came to a stop. The earth and street were torn up around her, leaving a long line of ruin. A flower cart clean in half. Trixie found herself living in a crevice with a broken pipe that was filling the hole with water. She unmorphed and her morpher fell into the water. Trixie's body was burning hot with pain, so she didn't mind the water gathering around her. Her body felt as if made of lead for a moment, so she just stayed where she was, content to sit there. Bodies around her gaped in shock and horror. Just as I thought. You never deserved this power, Natalie said as he approached Trixie. Trixie looked up weakly at him and glared at him with defiance. She laid her horn to ready a spell. Trixie screamed in agony. It felt like her head was on fire. Couldn't hold back the tears of pain. Natalie's sword impaled her horn and buried itself into the ground. Trixie's horn was cleaved in half. Natalie pulled his sword out and used his magic to pick up Trixie and throw her out of the hole into the street. Everybody watching gasped eyed wide. Trixie screamed in pain. She was in so much pain she couldn't even move. He reached down into his hole with his magic and pulled out Trixie's morpher. He dropped it to the ground and smashed it with his hoof. Crack! You're finished, Trixie. Over the moon. You know, I was hoping for some awesome Main 6 and Lunaverse adventures, and so far I'm 2 for 2. I am doing good. Maybe I might treat myself to some awesome Fallout Equestria fix instead of that DBZ one I was planning.